Hello and welcome to the Super Salty Podcast with me, Neelesh, and my co-host.
Oh my god, I can't talk. I butchered that. It was bad. Welcome to the Super Salty Podcast. I am Max. I attempt new theme songs every time, and none of them are going to work. That's sort of the thing. That's what. If I do one that works, then I have to do that one over again. But if I just fuck them up every time, I get to play a new one. That's where I'm at. Welcome to the podcast. Great intro, right? Great way to fucking start. Is this the best one we've done?
This is the best one we've done by far.
Yeah, that's sort of the feeling I've got. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth when you said that.
Right out of your mouth. This week, I really wanted to. I just really wanted to talk about Elon Musk because sure. I think I'm a bit of a fan. Like, over my masters, I 3D modeled the Tesla Roadster 2020, and then I went on to 3D model the SpaceX rockets, and I've listened to his autobiography. And I sound a bit obsessed with him at this point, but it's just something I've just been keeping tabs on. I want a Tesla, and I want a rocket.
Yeah.
Max did some recent reading today.
A little bit. Just a little sort of, I know what I know about Elon Musk through things that make it to my news feed, some basic stuff, but there's more to the man, so I looked into that a little bit. Yeah.
It's actually...
It's interesting.
You were mistaken. You thought that he got rich with PayPal, but he did not. He tried to make something called Zip2 first, which was effectively Google Maps.
Right. Yes. And let's see. Did I write down? Did I not write how much he sold it for? What the fuck? It was like $130 million. He sold Zip2 for,
and he got
which is insane.
He got his percentage worth, whatever percentage worth, but that's still like 20 million, which is insane.
And it was also like a bunch of in stock options they bought it for too. So like 30 million stock options in addition to the 130 million. That's insane. That's just like from not being a millionaire, which I don't think he was before, to that many millions of dollars. That's crazy.
Well, I happen to know that like when he started the company, it was him and I think it was his brother that he started with. And
did I write his name down? Kendall, I think his brother's name is.
They didn't have a flat. They rented an office and they slept in the office. And they had one computer between the two of them. And during the day, the website was up. And during night, they would work on it. So, and he actually had a girlfriend at the time. And for the girlfriend to spend time with them, she slept in the office too. So yeah, like massive sacrifices, like insane sacrifices. We hear this over like all of like the tech billionaires. Like Bill Gates, when he was in his 20s, it was sleep and code. And that was it. And his friend would be sleeping and coding on the next table from him, just in a dorm room or in his bedroom. So, I mean, that's an insane level of like, it's not healthy for you, but it's clearly like what you have to do to create something is blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, a lot of success when you really get down to it tends to just come back to time spent, time practiced. I think the Beatles are a pretty good example of that. They had this gig at a strip club in Hamburg, Germany. Hamburg, don't know. Hamburg, Germany. And they played every day a week for like 8 hours at least, like every day as a band, just constantly. Imagine practicing with a band every day for 8 hours. Like for like a couple years. Like they had some serious chemistry together and know-how about performing music. So the Beatles weren't just like born with a gift. They fucking practiced every day for years.
That's a really good way to put it. To hone in your skills, it's just endless doing the thing that you're good at. Yeah. I
don't like to romanticize the being born with a skill thing because it's not as impressive. I don't know. I'm not impressed if someone's born in a certain country. It's like you didn't do anything. You're just there. He didn't do anything.
Well,
I'm proud to be Irish. Okay.
After Zip 2,
Yeah.
he actually used the money that he earned off that to buy X.com, and X.com was trying to do financial transactions through the internet, which then became PayPal.
Right. That's kind of what I had known that a bit.
Yeah.
I knew that's at the very least, he was able to start SpaceX with the PayPal money, is what it was. And it was $1.5 billion, right? Something like that.
Oh yeah, and
it was a lot of money.
Well, it was actually it was bought by
eBay. Bought it from him.
Yeah,
what it was.
I mean, that's making waves. That's making mad moves. Financially speaking.
Once you get to $1 billion, what the fuck do you even do?
Yeah, you sit around and you wonder about what you want to make, like what you really want to make. You know, you've helped.
When people like become rich in the movies, it's usually just millions of dollars, and they're going crazy with $1 million. Like, what the fuck do you do with $1 billion? Good luck spending it.
So I actually know quite a lot about how SpaceX came about, and you know, you're a billionaire now, and you're just thinking about, why aren't we going to space more? And like, why is this all the space programs sort of just fell through? And he wanted to do something about it, but he also wanted to innovate on rockets and make them reusable, because it's madness. I never really knew this, and it never really occurred to me that when we used to go to space and use a rocket and came back with it out of commission, can't use it again. Like, rockets are a single-use thing.
That's crazy. That's insane. Because sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they don't work.
Man, I don't get too grim into like that, but yeah, there have been some horrendous space incidents with casualties.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But like, to make a reusable rocket, people laughed at him. Like, it's just, you don't know what you're talking about. You made money with PayPal. You're a programmer at best. Just kick back and just use your billions. Don't even step foot on our turf. And I remember he actually went to Russia because there was a rocket that he wanted to buy. You fly to Russia, and before you talk business, you take a drink with whoever you're doing business with, and after the drink, they gave him a hard time and said that he was talking nonsense and that they weren't gonna sell him the rocket. I know.
Wow.
Yeah. So
just accept my money, dumbass. What are you doing?
And
what are you doing?
He was so, him and his friends called it a lost cause. And on the plane back, he wrote a spreadsheet out saying for the money that we were going to buy it, we could plausibly build one. And his friends were like, "Nah, you're talking shit, Elon. Just sleep on the flight, okay?" But they looked at it and they were like, "Holy shit, we could do this." So I think I have these in the right order, right? So SpaceX, he actually started up and looked into before he found Tesla. So I remember people talking about SpaceX and it being like, "Oh, look at this billionaire thinks that he's gonna understand rocketry and space," and I think a lot of people look down on it and stuff. But like, his vision of like having rockets like in movies that you can use again, like fly places, and you can continue to use the rocket, and that it isn't just a single-use item. Because what happens with like the old NASA space shuttles is that a lot of the rocket would be like dismantled upon going up there and fall into the sea, and once it falls into the sea, those parts are no longer usable. But today we see that like the boosters on like the Falcon 9, they push the the rocket with the payload up into the upper atmosphere, detach, and they land. The rockets land. They if you could put a rocket into reverse, that's what happens. And that's crazy.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like, when you
that blows my mind. I don't understand.
The first time you see one of these space rockets land, like, it really it's kind of breathtaking, because you never thought that it would be possible, and you don't really understand how it's happening either.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, what the hell, man? He's come a long way.
Yeah. So then,
it's impressive.
He wanted to do Tesla, but at this time, SpaceX hadn't really found its footing, and there was just mad billionaire who wants to go to Mars, people ridiculing him. Like, he was a part of, like, the Mars Foundation stuff. Like, there's a foundation of people, and I think, who's the director of Avatar? James Cameron. James Cameron was in this, like, foundation of people who, like, get together, and, like, they talk about, like, why we should, experiments that we could do, or things that we could do to get to Mars and stuff, and they forever were just talking about sending mice and like monitoring them and bringing them back and seeing stuff. And he was the first one like we should send people. People, forget the mice. We should send people. I remember like people used to take the piss, and back then it was just this like ludicrous idea, and it just looked like this billionaire that was taking just impossible risks with his money and talking about going to Mars. So that at that point he also made Tesla, or founded Tesla, which was a company that researched and developed an electric car. And this,
I believe they were a year apart, their founding. I think SpaceX was 2002 and Tesla was 2003, which is crazy.
If I recall correctly, he just went out with his mates, had a good time, got back to wherever they were staying, and just started like bouncing ideas around, and electric cars came into the conversation, and they thought, well, why not? And I remember, the first Tesla is actually a Lotus, the chassis and body of a Lotus, and they've gutted it, and they've replaced like everything. And I remember seeing an interview in hindsight. He said, in hindsight, it seems stupid that we used the car, took everything out of it, then put new stuff into it, and even the car itself was too short, and we had to cut it down the middle and make it longer. And from the very beginning, like, we should have started with what was going to be inside the car, and then built the car around that. So they had actually taken way longer, simply because they used the chassis and body of a Lotus. But like, even that, people ridiculed him. Like, people ridiculed him a lot. They just thought, if there's ever a way to like just burn your money, burn your fortune, it's what Elon Musk is doing.
Just being safe or whatever,
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
it seems crazy because no one's done it before. Well, guess what? Things have to be done for the first time.
In fairness, like,
to know that,
Yeah. In fairness, he did actually put his entire fortune went into these two endeavors. Like, everything. Like, he basically went from billionaire to bust again, just like to having no money.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, he thought to himself, I can either put everything into this,
I guess
and
he'd
it
have
not work,
to. Yeah, that makes sense.
or I can just accept that, or just be a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always have options.
That's the nicest way to put it.
I'm glad there's someone out there like that. I think, life's short. I don't even think that's really crazy, because realistically, what would he do? He would find another way to make money when he got out. He's Elon Musk. Like, he's been doing this shit like crazy. He sold his first software when he was 12. It was a game called Blastar. So like the word blaster but with an A instead of the E. I played it, actually. There's an HTML5 version of Blastar. It's pretty simple. It's really simple. But this was 1984, and he was 12. And so considering that, it's actually pretty impressive. It's like Space Invaders and Missile Command, I want to say, combined. And there's not much to it. It doesn't really have a definitive end either, but it's fun. And he sold that shit for $500. The magazine just posted the source code, and that was it.
My lord.
Yeah,
a whole 500. Oh, to be honest,
$500.
500.
Dude, I've made less, I think, out of my YouTube channel in total, and I'm 27.
Okay. Well, when you're 12 years old, $500 is like, holy shit.
Oh my god, $500 now would be insane. Just to get,
just 500.
Just an extra $500 would be crazy.
Maybe we should get sponsors. No,
yeah.
that's not the message I'm really taking away from this conversation, by the way. But
Welcome to Pound Shave Club sponsorship. Is that what it's called over there?
Well, no. But I get it. I get it. Very good. It was
hey,
a
man,
joke.
you like jazz? Want to listen to some Kilometers Davis later? Ayo, bam, got him.
Moving on. Oh, fuck's sake.
Just wanted to get, yeah.
So he went bust on SpaceX and Tesla and really pursuing these. I remember that a lot of Hollywood celebrities were really interested in the Tesla stuff because, you know, they're mega rich and they're all about doing good things for the environment. So I think he was actually selling them before they were even ready or a thing. He was like, people were ordering them because it's an entirely electric car. And
I respect that blind confidence. I wish I had it. I wish I had it. I'm the opposite. I'm scared to do anything, even if it's not even that risky.
But the truth is that, like, the days of Tesla and SpaceX were, like, tight. Like, the money was back to back. Like, income was being straightly set. Like, he was having to do the math to see if people were going to get paid, you know? And I remember he had to borrow lots of money, and a lot of people who actually worked in the company invested money into it. And it was a real struggle. And, you know, during this time, he also founded Solar City, which was a company that distributed solar panels, and it was the second largest in the US. Today, that has become part of Tesla. I don't really know how to, like... SpaceX and Tesla, chronologically, come very early in the list of things he's done, because he's done so much. So, like, should we just talk about what's currently happening in SpaceX and Tesla? Even though it's not.
I know less about that, but I just love to learn. So,
well, I actually 3D modeled all the SpaceX rockets because I'm a nerd, and also it was coursework, and I had to 3D model something. And
I saw a couple of those. Those were neat.
My 3D modeling skills aren't incredible, but a rocket is, you know,
they're happening. They're happening. Okay.
A rocket isn't too difficult of a shape, you know. It's not as difficult as a car, that's for sure. The cars are, like, 3D modeling the Tesla Roadster was hard. It was hard.
Oh, I bet.
But the rockets are, like, you know, a tube, a cone, some things blended together. And I got really decent marks for them because they looked nice and shiny. But
yes,
it was very exciting.
It went through a rocket wash right before the presentation.
It was very exciting because whilst I was doing that, they were building the Starhopper, which is a very small rocket, the prototype Starhopper, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, I'm so into this. Like, because you could see drawings and CGI of what these things are going to look like, and finally he's building this giant stainless steel rocket, and I was amazed. And then a storm happened, and it fell over and broke in half.
Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like to hear that. I know it already happened, but, you know, it's like watching the Titanic. I'm bummed out. I don't want to know that it happened again. Stop.
Well, they got it upright, and they realized that basically it's broken in half, so they just capped it off. So if you type in Starhopper into Google, you'll find half a rocket. And very recently they did an actual test where it launches, it hovers, it moves over, and it lands on a different landing pad, and it works. So he flew half a rocket.
Well, that's great. And philosophy question: if a rocket breaks in half, is that two rockets? You know, is that two rockets?
It must be two rockets, Max.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're looking at two objects there, very rocket-like, each of them.
If anything, he had a great year.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes headlines, you know.
And today, I was very excited to see that they are actually creating the Starship, which is the goal. Like, it's SpaceX's goal to make the Starship. It's a prototype, definitely. It's not the final thing, but, you know, we'll get there. But it's very exciting to see that they're making the much larger Starship, and that it's going to be something that's real. I don't think that it'll have, like, windows and stuff, because I think it's purely for the sake of launching and testing, and it's definitely not going to go to space. I can tell you that much. But they want to know. They want to build a prototype and see what it can do. Well, maybe they will just throw it into the atmosphere, but people won't be on it.
Just so we're on the same page, what's the definition of like starship? I'm trying to picture it in my head. Just like a horizontal spaceship, basically?
No. Well, all the rockets are stainless steel and very similar looking and have similar names. So Starhopper is the short one, and I don't really know what its purpose is, but unless it's just a step in the production of the Starship. The Starship is, if you Google SpaceX Starship, do you know...
about 2 seconds ahead of you.
I drew it. It's the one I drew.
Ooh.
And showed you.
Ooh, I think I've seen it then.
Yeah, and it has 3 fins in the back and 2 in the front, and it's long and silver, and it has windows in the front that are triangular, and lots of windows around the sides, and that's the one that they think will send people to Mars.
Well, hell yeah. Sorry,
it's
that's some browser weirdness.
There's all sorts of...
Oh, wow, look at that. That's a spaceship.
There's all sorts of like nerdy science crap that I can tell you about, like how upon entry of the atmosphere, the body of it will it will leak through a membrane, like holes in the belly of the space of the starship. What are these going to leak? I can't remember. Hydrogen? It might be hydrogen. But yeah, to cool it upon re-entrying, and that it re-entries like sideways because of the drag. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
To slow it down, and that the rear fins actually move and control the drag as well. It's madness. Like, this rocketry stuff is just madness. Like, rocketry, just space and rockets went into the back of people's minds because we just stopped doing it. We just stopped pursuing it. And now all this is happening. I'm like nerding out. You can see rockets change into reverse and land. It's incredible.
I can't believe we're already here with that. That just does not seem like... There's so many like basic things I think should exist that we're not there yet on. But we have Elon Musk's rocketeering ventures. They're amazing.
Oh,
I don't know.
And
I don't even know what to think.
The other super mega interesting thing that SpaceX is doing is that they have something that they call Starlink, and the other month or whatever they just launched, like, they did a test launch into the atmosphere, and then they distributed like a whole bunch of little satellites, and you could see them in the sky like a little line of dots, and what they are were the Starlink satellites. And Starlink is satellite internet all over the world.
Ooh, man. I had a feeling that, I mean, I would like things to go that way. That would change. That would be like the next big like world changing tech advancement, because so many places there are places in West Virginia that don't have like proper running water that people live in, like
wow.
Little towns. I didn't know that until I work for the viewers out there who don't know. I work in local news, and I went out to this ceremony for like money was put down and the building started, like groundbreaking ceremony for water pipes being put into this town. I'm like, this is 2019.
Oh my god!
It's like, it's I don't know. It's West Virginia. It's just it's in the United States. It just seems such a like water. I understand like, oh, we don't have internet out here. That happens, sure.
Yeah.
Water though.
Water, running water.
This dude, like I talked to, and no one wanted to interview. They're like, I'm not gonna go on camera. I'm not an idiot. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't do it either. Very hypocritical the way I do my job. He said he had to, like, weekly go out and get, I don't know, it was a ridiculous amount of water in the back of his truck, this gigantic tank, and he just takes it home, drinks with it, showers with it, flushes the toilet with it, like 100%. Every week goes to get, I don't know how many 100 pounds of water, or however you would measure water in that quantity. Yeah, that's real, by the way. That's real.
That's really it's really
a little off topic, but
Yeah, but like, I was watching. There's a new Netflix series about Bill Gates and how he's a retired billionaire. This is what I've been.
Chernobyl. Yeah.
My last past week I've like been getting back into like what are the advancements in science, and also what are the billionaires. Those rich white people. They're not all bad, and a handful of them are trying to better the world, and Bill Gates is one of them. He's you should watch this Inside Bill's Mind, I think it's called, but the Bill Gates Netflix.
That's HBO, you said?
No, Netflix original.
Oh, Netflix.
Bill Gates 3-part documentary that was.
I was going to add that while I'm sitting here during a recording.
Yeah, it only came out 3 days ago, and the first episode is about how, basically, there's a book called the World Advancement Report or the World Development Report, and the 1993 copy talks about how there's everywhere in the world water is an issue, but also sanitation is an issue, and that they don't have like sewage plumbing. So he went out and he ventured how to create toilets that would run without water or electricity, and like he held big competitions for this, and people came and they created their prototypes, and when he asked them how much does this cost, he was like told many times this prototype here would cost 50 grand for a toilet, and it's like in these third world countries these toilets are going to need to be less than $500. Yeah, so like he had this whole thing that people didn't take seriously because it's about toilets, but it's a good cause, like because children were dying of diarrhea, and because people were just getting sick and dying, like so many of them, and it happens like today. Like, yeah, so the episodes ended quite well with like that they did find numerous cheap solutions for toilets that run without water, and you get them in Madagascar and places in Africa and the Middle East as well. So it's nice that someone gave a shit. Excuse the pun? Question mark. I didn't mean that.
Oh, hey, good one.
I didn't mean that.
I'm proud of you on that one.
It was not appropriate.
Planned or not, you recognized what it was right after you said it. That's what matters.
That's what matters.
And that way, everyone can enjoy it. That's sort of the bigger picture with a nice joke. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
And obviously, like you said, he also investigated nuclear energy. He investigated nuclear energy, and the point was that there hadn't been an advancement in nuclear energy in like 40 years, and that people did actually come up with new designs for much safer, like significantly safer nuclear reactors, but it hasn't happened. And I don't want to say why hasn't happened. I think at this point you should investigate this. You should actually watch the Netflix documentary. I don't want to spoil it for you. We should get back on Elon Musk.
Yeah, either way.
So like SpaceX is space travel and going to be internet all over the world. I think the way the internet works is that you have to buy like an antenna that's the size and shape of a pizza box, and like you attach it to like your roof or your car or your village.
That's simpler than I thought it would be, actually, to tap into something like that.
Actually, the reason it was delayed was because they took 2 years to come up with it, how you were going to receive the internet. And apparently it will cost like $200, which isn't cheap, but in areas that don't have internet, fiber optic broadband,
that's huge. That's huge.
And the other solution for satellite internet is 30 grand. So the thing that you put on your car to get satellite internet, those things cost 30 grand. Insane.
No, thank you.
So I don't know.
Into it.
I don't know
I'll
if you.
Opt out.
I don't know if you pay a subscription after that either. But if you're in the middle of
that's just the initial. That's the upfront. The down payment.
If you're in the middle of fucking nowhere and like service providers do not provide to your area, it's a decent option. And these. Yeah. So it'll be like 7,000, less than 8,000 satellites that are not geostationary. They're much closer to Earth, which means that they need to whiz around Earth much faster. And you have like a grid of them just whizzing around the sphere, and they all communicate with each other. So like if you needed to get something, so like the way you use it, the internet works is when you're using the internet, there's a computer somewhere in the world that you've connected to receive these files and this information. So to use it via these satellites, it pings between all of them and then comes back.
Oh,
and
that's a great visual.
The real,
like
you should watch the video. They've got graphics and like CGI things, and the reason that they think that this is going to work really well is for stock trading, because it will be like 20 milliseconds faster than the fastest internet on Earth, because these satellites communicate via lasers, so you're using the speed of light.
That's a big thing on its own.
Yeah,
video games are going to change if internet latency is essentially removed. That's crazy. That is huge. Okay, yeah, starting to see the picture.
I think
it's good.
I think video game latency is more to do with like the company's servers.
It's about distance, in a big way. Like I know this because League of Legends, I used to play that game religiously for like 4 years. I played it so much. Like, I stopped playing maybe 2016 or something like that. But originally, the closest server to me was in my country, but I'm on the east side of the country. I'm in West Virginia. But their nearest server was in California, so the other side of the country. The latency was 130 milliseconds or so on average, which is like a little more than a tenth of a second, which you like 100% notice. But people in California statistically had more wins in the game because they had 20, 30 millisecond latency, like not noticeable, less than a 20th of a second.
Can I just tell you,
like nothing? Yeah,
that I think I've just thought about it a bit more. You're absolutely right, because
it's about server hops. When they have to go in between way more servers, because it's like connected through electricity, like the ground, I guess. So it's a little
Starlink says, when SpaceX says it's going to be the fastest internet on the planet, that doesn't mean for like a select few. Like that doesn't mean because you're a stock trader and you have access to the giant fiber optic line between the UK and New York. That means everyone's going to get this incredibly fast internet.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I just like an equal playing field in terms of these things.
You're so into it. Like, you'll buy 2 of those antennas. Yeah. You only need one, but you're going to be like, dude, I adopted one.
God, double fucking internet. Come to my house, dude. Pick your poison. Pick your Wi-Fi network.
Fast 1 or fast 2?
Yin or yang, my boy. What are we doing?
So
what fucking sites are we surfing on right now?
Oh, please do not start listing sites that people shouldn't go to again. Don't do it. I'm moving on.
YouTube
I'm
Red.
Moving on.
Lots of sites. Just recycling really quick. That was a recycling bin, I promise.
Oh my god, it's so fitting for the theme. Save the planet. You know, yeah. I've sucked the turtles. I've sucked SpaceX's dick long enough. Let's talk about Tesla and all the things they do.
Yeah, sure.
And like, obviously electric cars, and people thought that was going to be an absolute joke, but it's not. And like, the way people talk about like their Teslas in disbelief of like what it can do is astonishing. And obviously the electric engine has so much more torque and has acceleration than gasoline or petrol, as we say in the UK, engine. And apparently it shows. Like, when you tell me that the Tesla Roadster of next year can do 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, I think about my neck and how it's going to tear apart. 1.9 seconds?
I really enjoy in my life having sort of organs that aren't just squished into jelly. That's what I like. That's just me. Preferences.
But neither you or I are going to get our hands on a Tesla Roadster.
But Imagine emerging on the interstate with that. That's like, that's a dream.
Well, the other thing is, okay, so Elon Musk has always said that like other people aren't doing driverless cars properly because they're using LiDAR, and LiDAR is basically like a submarine sonar, except for you're just using lasers. Like imagine if you took a Kinect and you spun it. That's LiDAR, okay? So it's like, you know, and I've always wondered. I did a little bit of like, actually I did quite a lot of computer vision in my bachelor's. I've always wondered if you have two of these driverless cars with LiDAR, both using LiDAR, how are they going to be able to differentiate between each other's LiDARs? You know, like if you put two Kinects next to each other, it will get lost in whose dots are which. For instance,
I see what okay, I see what you mean.
Like using lasers.
Is it infrared is what it is?
I think so. But like he said that LiDAR is a fool's errand. And I kind of agree with him. Like it won't work in mass production practice.
It's like a workaround for a test for a single working for a prototype.
So
at the very
he's always said that to solve driverless vehicles you need to solve vision, and by that he means computer vision, as in solving it in terms of making the way computers see things really accurate. And he's always argued that like when we drive, we don't use spinning lasers, we use our eyes. And this is true, like we do, driving is sort of not down to the centimeter, you know, it's down to like reasonable approximations, and that's how we drive. So to use the cameras on a car to drive is sensible. So a lot of Tesla's research has gone into computer vision and being able to see cars and see the lines on the road and know what you're doing. And, you know, when you see videos of Teslas, autopilot is not complete, obviously. We don't have real driverless cars, but it has some things like emergency stop. When you see videos of Tesla's emergency stopping, like the viewer nor the driver in the car realizes the danger, and then it becomes apparent that that dude was going to die in a crash. You know, like the brakes get hit and the person driving is shocked because the car's just suddenly done something, but then they realize, holy shit, I was about to be in a horrendous crash.
Makes you sort of, you know, talking about cars and suddenly questioning mortality. It's that's pretty insane. I think that could be, I don't know, I'm trying to imagine how far away we would be from, you know, I guess solving computer vision. I don't know.
I think they've done a pretty good job, and I think
we're like for sure getting there.
They're continuing to do a pretty good job as well, because apparently by the end of this year your Tesla should be able to find you in the parking lot and pick you up. You know, it's called,
that's crazy.
It's called the summon feature. This is what I really like. Everything has a really fucking cool name.
That's insane. I'm less impressed about that technology being, you know, achieved, but instead impressed by the fact that someone thought of that. Your car's gonna find you. What?
Yeah.
You're gonna get picked up by fucking nothing, dude.
I mean, the current summon is you press a button and it rolls out of its parking space, so that if you're blocked in, that you will be able to get into your car, and that alone is pretty cool. You know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, you see the safety videos. Like, if you find the safety tests with Teslas, it's insane. Like, the Model X has a perfect safety rating because the batteries are in the bottom of the car, right? So if you try and flip a Model X, it will roll back onto its wheels.
Whoa!
Like they've never been able to run a test where it lands on its back and stays on its back. They haven't been able to roll one, let alone get it to flip.
Damn,
you know,
dude.
because they're so heavy in the base.
How are more people not behind all this?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's the truth.
Like, why be so scared of? We've innovated so much in the past, 100 years. It's like our fucking thing. Like, why don't we just, keep that up. It's pretty good. It makes life a lot better.
And of course, the other thing is that Solar City actually became part of Tesla, and Tesla's other thing that they do is create solar panels that look like roof tiles. Like, you can't tell they're solar panels because they look like roof tiles, and a lot of them are very modern and flat, but some of them are like curved and like the kind of thing you'd see in Italy. Some of them are different shades, like a very Spanish rooftop. And if you're gonna redo your roof or build a new house, it only makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
I could see that's like something I think I'd want to do when I'm in a place in my life where, possibly if I ever end up making money like that and go solar panels, that would be so fucking sick. I like how they look too.
They look well, like these ones.
Favorite decoration.
These ones don't look like solar panels. They just look like roof tiles. They look like very modern, sleek roof tiles.
Well, either way, I almost kind of want the solar panels that look like solar panels.
Write me an email.
Like, look what I'm doing.
I'm saving the environment.
I'm harnessing energy from the sun, idiot.
Yeah. I've always fucking said to people, right? A lot of people are like, what's the point in an electric car? Because you're charging it with energy that's been created with pollution. Like, in the UK, 27% of the energy is actually green energy, right? 27% of your car running with green energy is better than 100% petrol. Like, why don't people understand that, Max?
Yeah, it's the emissions.
I get so mad. I just get so mad with people.
Dude,
and just the dumb things they say.
I live in the biggest, I'm pretty sure the biggest coal state in the entire country.
Oh yeah, you do.
People here, I have like relatives that get legit so mad if that's brought up and you say anything bad about coal. Who gives a fuck? God, I know people were coal miners. You know what? We need to fucking stop. I don't know. There should not be an emotional attachment to a fossil fuel. Jesus Christ.
This is true.
Yeah, it's so silly. It's
the
so
same
silly.
with like
I get it. It's a big part of people's history. But why can't it just stay a part of people's history? I don't know.
Oof.
We could just move. We could just move along.
Do people in your town...
It's kind of political, sorry.
Do people in your town listen to our podcast, Banks?
I don't think so.
I mean,
maybe I don't think this is... No, probably not. I know my friend David does. David's definitely...
Yeah.
He's a liberal boy.
Okay.
He's a libtard, just like you, boy.
So far, Elon Musk... this is also soul-crushing. When he made his first millions, do you know how old he was?
No.
28.
I only have a year. I have a year to beat him. Not beat him, but...
you could do it, Max.
Tie him.
You could do it. Yeah. But yeah. SpaceX, rockets, and satellite internet, Tesla, electric cars, and solar panels. There's this other thing that I think most people misinterpret as the Boring Company and trying to get tunnels dug for traffic.
Right, yeah, I wanted to talk about that eventually. That's one of my things I'm most interested in, actually.
But Hyperloop isn't actually that. The Boring Company's idea comes from Hyperloop. Hyperloop was an idea he had of, like the underground, like the tube system in London, yeah?
Yeah.
Kind of take that, make the trains airtight, the tube that it travels in, remove the air from it, and the rails is magnets. Right, so
cars go on them. Cars from the road get lowered onto.
No.
Wait, you're talking about? Okay, never mind. I'm thinking of
Hyperloop is a different thing, but it's so similar that I got confused, and most people mistake it.
Shit.
He's talking about creating a public transport system where, like, you get in a little shuttle, and it fires you the speed of a plane through a tube without air on rails made of magnets.
So no friction, no drag.
Yeah, so like...
That's insane.
He runs a Hyperloop competition where people try and come up with their own, like, rail... carts. I don't know what you call them. The things that sit on the rail and move around through the tube. Sure. Through the depressurized tube.
I think they're cars. I think they're just cars, right? Rail cars. Cars. Yeah.
But, like, yeah, so...
Like a box car. Yeah, it's a car.
No, it's like some sort of, like, I don't know what it's called, but like, it's cheeky that I learnt today that Virgin, the company, have their own version of this that they're calling Hyperloop One, and like it caused me confusion because I thought they were the same thing. I was like, is Elon in business with this dude? No, he's not. They just took the idea and added the word one onto the end of the name.
It's like when you really, it's 2003 and you really fucking need a RuneScape username, but it's taken. What do I do?
Damn, son.
I want to be called Knife Guy. Knife Guy 1.
Exactly. So yeah, the idea is that like you can travel between cities that would normally take you like 8 hours in like 40 minutes or something. Like you're going the speed that a plane would go. And I think that would really help us, because I think you're so limited to what job you can work via how you can get there, and with traffic.
Yes.
And so if you could work in an entirely different city and still live somewhere you could afford in a different city, or if you like specialize, like I have an AI degree, and where I live there are not many AI jobs, because most of the AI jobs are in London, and I live in Brighton or near to Brighton, so that would work well for me. that like 2-hour journey would become 10 minutes.
Like I was saying with the satellite internet proposal, this is just leveling the playing field. Also, is what it is.
Yeah,
it's whittling things down, like your chance to get a job, making it more about your the amount of effort you put in, the skill that you come to the table with.
I have a question for you, actually.
Yes.
Let's say you owned a Tesla, and it was the in the future where it's self-driving, and you drove your Tesla from home to work. Would you then allow your Tesla self-driving to be its own Uber service, and whilst you're at work it drives off and it picks up people and drops them and they get charged? Would you allow other people, strangers, into your Tesla for a fare?
I think that would come down to, that's so situational. I feel like I would have to know the ins and outs of the security system. Maybe there was some sort of a webcam I could remotely look at through it, almost like your doorbell camera, things that are something like that, where people sort of know about it, are deterred from knowing about this service, purposely getting one of these to try to steal it. That's sort of what needs to be deterred. So if we can solve that, fuck, maybe, man. That's
what happens
insane.
If the steering wheel's just locked and it's in self-driving mode and no one can touch it, and that.
Well, right, yeah, you can't even get it in the front. It's just the back door's open.
You would consider it, right?
Yeah,
at least you'd consider it.
Absolutely.
When Elon Musk first described this idea to Joe Rogan, he said, "Not gonna work. Okay, no fucking strangers are getting in my Tesla." you have mispredicted this massively. Elon.
Dude, you line that backseat with fucking plastic and you just
and I'm just
let it go. Throw away the plastic. It's fine.
I just asked myself, would I if I had a car like that, would I let it go self-drive to whoever, pick it up and become like an Uber service, like a self-driving Uber service? I think the other thing,
and I'm just like, is that if you have the money for a car like that, you probably don't need the extra money.
Yeah.
Or maybe you did. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's the only other thing.
It's kind of what I want to articulate, but it's nice, I guess. But at the same time,
it's cool.
What happens if I get my car back at the end of a hard day and it's just got vomit in it or something?
Right, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of where my head was at when I was talking about just lining the backseat with plastic. Yeah. You're adding significant amounts of wear and tear.
Look, if there's a service that before it comes to get me back from work, yeah, it goes and gets cleaned, and then comes to me. Done. Okay, sure.
Okay. Yeah,
Then
you get an account
I'm
at like
beginning to be
a
on board.
you get an account at like a detailer, a washer detailer. And so when the car shows up, they look at the VIN number, they look at the license plate number, like, oh, it's Max. We'll just charge it. We'll just put it on his tab, charge it to his account. Let's wash it, send it out. Holy fuck.
Because it's like, I think Airbnb have that, where like cleaners will come in after stays if you want that. I don't really know. I maybe I'm talking crap, but yeah, like
That would make sense.
getting strangers in like one of the nicest cars, the nicest car you'll ever own, makes me feel very uneasy. Because I know what people are like with their own fucking cars. You know?
Oh yeah, people are even less considerate about other people's
And
things.
I've seen the horror
which is
stories.
so backwards.
I've seen the horror stories on Reddit where it's just like, yeah, I let my neighbor use my Tesla whilst I was out of town, and I came back early, and like you learn that like they have like a serious issue with cleanliness, and they came back and their car was just full of like Burger King wrappers and shit everywhere, and like weird stains. That would make me lose my mind. It's the truth.
Man, people don't realize how much of a strain something like hygiene can be on personal relationships. It's real. It's really fucking real. It's like, it's funny at first, but you know, I was in a friend group a long time ago where it was just mainly three of us hanging out, and one of us, it was not me, he just fucking stank so bad and just would do weird shit. It's like, get your feet off the fucking couch. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
It's like you don't have it's almost insulting. You don't have the decency to shower before you come over here.
But think about it. If you know someone sort of like that, right, that you wouldn't be okay with being in your Tesla, would you let your Tesla run its own Uber service where you don't know who's getting in your car?
I mean, how easy can I get it cleaned easily?
Yeah.
Can I keep someone in the back seat for sure? Up away from the front where the good smells are. The fun, nice smells. The non-threatening sense.
I get you. I was like, why is he so concerned with only getting people in the back seat when the car can hold 5 people?
Yeah, don't
But
fucking mess with my shit. Don't take quarters out of my change jar.
I see.
Thing. You know what I mean?
I see.
Keep your little personal space. It's like renting a room out in a house on a much different scale.
We're probably going to overrun. I'm just letting you know. Because like we've still got other things.
Life is like this. Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna run through this one quickly. You know how Elon is very much like, we need to prepare ourselves for the invention of general artificial intelligence, and general means like not specific, not like Siri or hot dog, not hot dog, but like
right.
The movie AI, like an Age of Ultron level event is what he's concerned
about. And I do
about.
think hot dogs are sandwiches, really, you know?
Most people will not understand this Silicon Valley reference, but he's very much like he's been warning people, and he feels defeated that no one's listening to him. But he's kind of right, because I used to be very optimistic about like, we will, before it happens, sort it out and do it in controlled environments and have all the precautions ready. And like he's pointed out very much that that's not the case, and no one's really thinking about it. And the chances are that when artificial intelligence comes into fruition, that it might be by accident. At the moment we just try lots of different stuff. At the moment it's neural networks and deep learning. That's where we're at, and it shows promise. But I don't think a lot of people in AI don't think it's the solution, but might be part of the solution. So when we move on to other stuff, we're just experimenting all the time, and we might do it by accident, and we need to be doing it on purpose in a controlled environment with a way that we can switch it off, because this thing is going to think so much faster than us, and it will basically live our life. It will think its way through the length of one of our lives in like mere seconds, and it will innovate faster than anything we've ever known. simply because Max is upset. You know, I've thought about this quite a lot, and I keep telling my old flatmates were all physicists, that we need to build an EMP gun for when the robots come at us. But I've learned that, you know, EMP blast doesn't, you know, they're pretty fast. Guns probably aren't the way to go with it. So I was thinking, what else could we do? And I thought, a suicide vest, but with EMPs. So you're running yelling, press the button, you're fine, but everything else around you just drops. It would be a real suicide vest if you have a pacemaker. Don't wear one of those with a pacemaker.
Yeah, and being near someone with a pacemaker, there's some things there. But I mean, if we're talking, you know.
Yeah, I need to copyright that. The EMP suicide vest. What if we built robots, put them on them, and made them run it?
Ooh, man, that's like that's crazy on its own level. Like, kill these people and yourself, or I'll kill you. It's like, fuck. I'm a robot. Okay, fuck.
Just for anyone who's wondering, my T-shirt is of Pickle Rick. Moving on.
I'm a T-shirt, Morty. I'm a T-shirt. Like, what a young man wear on his torso.
That's actually quite good. That's actually quite good.
Genuinely. Oh fuck! I was kind of being facetious, but thank you. Yeah, I guess it is. It's definitely it's not a long sleeve or like a sort of a Henley neck with a couple buttons, or like a shirt. It is a shirt, but that's it. I'll stop there.
Oh, very good, Vax. Very good.
Well, thank you. Which one was better? Which one do I have down more?
The Rick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The Morty's hard. You have to be like.
There's a special voice cracks in it. And
it's like when
there's a lot of Mortyisms.
When there's a ball in your throat because you're upset. That's how Morty speaks.
Yeah, like what I did, but maybe with some more like rasp. And I think that's also just because Justin Roiland is probably in his 40s, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we're about to find out.
Are you sure? 40s? I swear he's younger.
I don't know.
I mean, if he's
39.
Yeah,
he's 39.
Okay, so he's close. I was talking about AI and why he's scared of AI. And he said if you can't beat him, join him. So he has founded OpenAI. A bunch of researchers also researching AI. Very recently, they did a video of AIs that would play hide and seek. So you had the seekers and the hiders, and it was like it looked like a little 3D game, but the characters that looked like little Big Planet sort of characters.
Sure.
Two of the blue ones were hiding, and the red ones were seeking, and that they could move like elements in the world, like walls and blocks around to hide, and that they could lock the elements that they've moved so that it couldn't be moved. And through deep learning, so the seekers would come up with new inventive ways to hide, and then the hiders would come up with new inventive ways to hide, and the seekers would eventually come up with unexpected ways to seek, such as getting a ramp and climbing a wall and finding them, or
whoa.
So like eventually the seekers would realize this. It's deep learning is hard. What you have to do is run a bajillion simulations, like a bajillion, and one of them will show promise in something, and then you go on from there. So eventually they realize that if they lock all of the objects so that the seekers can't use the objects to climb over walls and such and so forth, and then eventually what happens is they do hacks. They figure out a way to break the physics system so they can launch themselves in the air and then find them.
So we're talking about tool-assisted speedruns making themselves.
Yeah. So that's
huge.
If you want
that's gonna ruin AGDQ 2020, dude. Play fucking games fast, bitch. That's what it stands for.
So if you want to see this, you type in OpenAI hide and seek, and it's very entertaining and it's very scary at the same time, because it's almost like, well, now we've taught them how to hunt.
Yeah, and hide, and yeah, holy fuck.
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. Like, I know the difference.
We're at the start of AI, and already they're gonna hide from us. Where the fuck did it go?
Yeah. So OpenAI, I very much appreciate it because I was a bachelor's in AI, so, and I've looked at it a bit. It's good. It's good stuff. They do good stuff, and this hide and seek video quite entertaining. The next thing that's more recent, as of this year, and my girlfriend is she bachelored in. She got a degree in biology, so I started talking to her about this. Neuralink, which is hundreds of implants into your brain, and the tip of the implant is very close to the neurons. Neurons? What is your brain made of? Neurons.
Yeah, neurons.
Yeah. Very close to the neurons, so close that it can read when it's firing, and that it can also manually fire your neurons. So the images of this are very scary, because what they've done is created like needles that are thinner than a hair, and they need to put hundreds of them, and it's done by a robot for precision, into you, and to get the tips of them near the neurons of your brain, right? So that alone is pretty scary. And they actually, unfortunately, they did this to monkeys for testing, and they did say that like it is very unfortunate that that's what we need to do, but at the same time we've successfully made a monkey use a computer using just his brain. So like the guys, Elon actually said that, and the guys who work for the company were surprised that he was just going to announce that then and there. But yeah, and the idea is of Neuralink that when we read stuff and when we learn stuff and when we watch stuff, we're taking in information, but we're actually taking it in quite slowly compared to a computer where you can just install stuff. So the concept is, how can you download stuff to your brain? Like, how can you acquire knowledge with a much higher bandwidth? So this is his idea, and he says like, we can't stop AI, but maybe with this we can be more on a level playing field with it, where we can begin to understand, have a way to understand the new things that it comes up with via installing it directly into our brains. My girlfriend was very much concerned with if these things can read your brain activity but also induce brain activity, you could hack someone's brain.
Yeah, someone will figure it out in about 4 hours after it comes out.
I mean, even with the Teslas,
it'll be super hot. Or no, what was the guy who hacked the PS4 and got arrested or sued by Sony? What was his name? Geo Hot. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then he fucking and then he uploaded a rap where he's like, "Hey, he says his name and he's like, I'm getting sued by Sony," and then he does a whole rap. It's like, the fuck world am I living in?
Dude, I forgot about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a second ago, but that was like, is this fucking real?
But like, it really will happen. Like, people
sure, yeah, someone will figure it out.
Just because it's Elon Musk, that maybe no, that's all bullshit. Like, someone knows how to hack the Teslas, and it's something that they do, and they can offer their work as service. For instance, there's one guy who made a new Tesla by using scrap parts of 2 broken Teslas that have been in car crashes. But the problem is that to use a Tesla is like to use an iPhone. You need like an account and stuff. So all that stuff he couldn't set up. But he found a dude that will do it for him. So like, yeah, you can hack this stuff. Is subject to cybersecurity crap. Is the truth. But with this Neuralink stuff, getting back to the positive, that like, it's supposed to help us, But I sure as hell, if you look at the images of how they implant it and stuff, not images but diagrams, I ain't gonna be the first dude to do it, okay? I'm not gonna be in the first million people to do it, okay? I'm gonna let quite a lot of other people try it first.
I don't love science that much, like,
like, I'm not gonna be the first guy to try driverless, self-driving cars. I'm not gonna sit there and watch my wheel. I'm not gonna be the first dude to do that. I'm gonna let a whole bunch of people try it first, okay?
Well, sure, yeah.
I mean, if I'd love to download all the lyrics to Eminem and be able to spit them out at any time given, but
sure,
maybe let someone else try.
Yeah, we'll have someone else do it. It's just because I just want someone else to have the glory,
Okay,
so humble.
So this Neuralink thing, a million implants into your brain, and they have like one external module that will like sit behind your ear or something, but the implants to your brain will stay there and they'll never change, but the module will be upgradable.
I'll say this is actually kind of close to home in a weird way.
Oh,
Wouldn't
yeah,
expect
yeah.
this to be. My dad has Parkinson's disease, and so he got surgery and has this device. It's two like leads that go on either side of his brainstem, and then like you said, it's this thing. It's the device is like here, like above his chest area, and it goes behind his ear, like down his neck. You can see it. It's like it's a cable. It's really crazy, and so Parkinson's disease. I think most people know this, but it sort of causes like involuntary like convulsions and in certain like body parts. Like it can make it really hard to like stand still or like use your hands to do things. A lot of people like shake their heads. But this like gives it like gives out this electricity, this stimulation. It's sort of like seems to be an inverse signal to
It's noise
what
cancelling.
Parkinson's is doing.
It's noise cancelling. Yes, we've talked about this. It's very interesting.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can be adjusted to, Parkinson's is progressive, so it gets worse over time forever. And so you just raise the stimulation and suddenly it's just equaled out. It's crazy.
Does it
fucking crazy? That's now.
I believe you told me there's positive results with that.
Yeah. Almost perfect.
Okay.
He slurs his words a bit now.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Well, my brother's in the military, and we went to the military base before he was shipped out to Italy, where he's at now. But to visit him, on his family day after being in basic training for like months, and when we're like getting our military passes to get into the base, and the guy was like really eyeing my dad. He's like, "You fucking drunk? Are you about to drive into a military base drunk?" Right. He's just like, "No, it's the thing."
I see.
It's so awkward, so he has to deal with that shit. But point was, very roundabout way of saying, we're already putting devices in people's brains to fire neurons.
That's
happening. It's in my dad.
Is that directly connected to his brain?
Yeah, the leads are on either side of his brainstem. So
right.
Yeah, they're surgically implanted on either side of his brainstem. That shit's real.
That's very cool. There's an article for that.
Controlled from a fucking like iPad, basically, when he goes in to get it tuned. That's crazy, dude.
That's really fucking cool. I don't know if this Neuralink stuff can do anything like that, but I know that at least can it stimulate? It must be able to stimulate. It's like Neo in the Matrix. The whole concept is Neo in the Matrix, where he's just like, I just learnt Kung Fu because he just downloaded kungfu.zip into your brain. So if the brain has motor functions, surely.
Yeah.
So to do this, it's the same principle that you should be able to hopefully download noise cancelling.
Download muscle memories.
Download more RAM.
Fucking crazy.
Download more RAM.
From dedicated wham.
My friend told me that he knew someone who really believed that you could just download more RAM. That's pretty funny.
It's a big enough meme, widely spread meme, that surely people are gonna be like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
I say I will never try this Neuralink stuff, but if other people have positive results in it, then I start thinking of what are all the things I wish I learned that I didn't have the time to learn, And if that just becomes a matter of, I have a Bluetooth thing behind my ear that's connected to my brain, that's connected to my phone, and I can go to an app and I can just install modules from things that I never got to take, like at university, I don't know. That would be great. It's the truth.
That'd be killer. Absolutely.
Would they sell it? Would they sell here's how to use Photoshop, like a Udemy course, except for you install it into your head and you just know it.
Man, yeah, that's insane. I have so many questions. I feel like, I don't know, there's some sort of a philosophy problem here where it's what are you even doing with your life if you can just download everything?
Okay,
do hobbies even exist anymore? Is quality of life going to go down because of this? I don't. I wonder.
Well, think about it. Like painting, or drawing, is actually a technical skill that you need to learn. Like you need to learn how to draw, like perspective and like them using your hand and developing the muscle memory. If you're telling me like you can install something into my brain that will give me all the information of the theory and maybe things to improve my like experience with developing this muscle memory. Like I don't know if muscle memory is universal, but at least you could get something that helps. And then I can't paint. I find painting quite difficult. I like to draw.
Same.
Drawing has quite a tactile feel. I know when I'm on the paper. I know when I'm not off the paper. Painting is less so, like using paintbrushes and things. And those people who paint with like a little scraper, those people who just paint with a scraper, those people are mad.
Bob Ross does that. A painting knife.
Yeah, like you're not touching, that knife isn't touching the canvas. You just things like that, right? I don't have the skills to do that, but if someone who always wishes that they could make art could download that to their brain and then use these skills to make beautiful artwork, I don't see anything wrong with that,
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I would like to think, and it's a selfish thing too. I'd like to think that there's, like the human touch sort of left in it. I don't know if it's like, does anything meaningful? If it's like, oh wow, he's so talented. Well, he just fucking downloaded it, so I don't know.
Yeah, people will be like that, but like what you do with it is the thing that.
Will there be standouts if everyone has the same knowledge and same know-how? But yeah, I mean, if it's if I guess then it does whittle down to big picture ideas, especially in terms of something like painting. It's like, well, if you know how to paint everything, that's great, but if you can't think of cool things to paint, then what are you doing?
We have a couple more things on the list.
Sure.
So, like, obviously you wanted to talk about The Boring Company, and I cut you off because I was really talking about Hyperloop. But The Boring Company is exactly what he said. It's his latest endeavor, his latest new company. And just for background, he was sitting in traffic, and he's had this Hyperloop idea, and like he adapted the idea for cars, right? If you could basically have an underground network like London's Tube, but for cars, and you know about it, you can speak on it, like how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. What? Oh, The Boring Company. You're talking about that? Okay,
yeah.
So I was like, I've never taken the tube. I've never been to Europe. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. on how the cars are supposed to get into the tunnel and.
Yeah. So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This is supposed to initially, at least, to be in Los Angeles, California, because it has some of the worst traffic in not only the country but the world. It's pretty awful. It's like you almost don't want to own a car. It's an hour to go a few miles or something crazy at certain times and places. It's like, why do that? So he wants to have these like little platforms, sort of in high traffic areas that will put your car on skates of sorts, take you down to this tunnel, zip your car unbelievably extremely fast. And, to do this, you're going to have to bore holes underground. So that's The Boring Company. And also for those who have seen those white colored flamethrowers appear on, Joe Rogan, anywhere else, that's Boring Company merch. That's how they funded initially the company, right? Selling those?
Well, they sold hats first, and they went out of stock.
That's right.
And then Elon Musk wanted to think of something more fun, and it was a flamethrower. Thing is, you can't just sell and ship a flamethrower, so they actually they got.
And they're totally flamethrowers.
Kind of. There's a tool for roofing that is like what the not a flamethrower is. It's a tool for roofing where you use flames to do something with the surface of the roof tiles. So he actually got those made, and he sold it as not a flamethrower, and he told a lot of people, very clear in the description, that this is not a flamethrower. So he made 10
With a
million
big
of
fucking
those.
picture of an eyeball winking right under it.
No, not really.
Yeah.
He actually told a lot of people that like this isn't actually that great of an idea, and like he could legally do it, but it was like maybe don't buy one. But the hats made 1 million, so he was trying to make 10 million.
They were not as expensive, if I remember, like as you would think.
Yeah, so I think he said that he wanted to make a flamethrower because he'd watched Space Jam, and there's a flamethrower in Space Jam.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty cool.
$500, by the way. 350 pounds. That's not bad.
He made how many? 20,000 of them. 20,000 times 500, I think, is 10 million. I can't. Look,
Yep.
It's 20 past 1 a.m. in the morning here. Don't make me do math. But that's dope. Firstly, and secondly, calling your company the Boring Company, and also he wishes to advance boring technology, as in technology to bore, like the tunnel digging machines, right?
Right. To bore a hole.
New tunnels get built in the London Underground, not all the time, but they get built, right? And apparently, I didn't know this, it takes forever. And then he very much claimed that like his daughter has a pet snail or something. That snail is called Gary from SpongeBob. That snail moves faster than a tunneling machine. So like he's saying that there's all these things that we can do. Thing is, he's a physics and maths based dude. So he comes up with all these things. He looks at all these things, and he figures out a way to improve it in terms of magnitude, like a magnitude of 2 to double it, or magnitude of 4 here, or magnitude of 8 there. Like it's insane. But also that attitude is why his predictions on when things are going to be done is too optimistic.
And can I say, just to show the perspective of how amazing it is that he knows what he knows. I'm pretty sure he just has a bachelor's degree in physics.
Yeah.
Just a bachelor's degree. And he was going to his master's and dropped out after 2 days so he could do Zip2. Is that what it's called? Zip2?
Yep.
That company, his initial company, he made like $100 million on. Yeah, he dropped out of his master's 2 days in for that, which is like a good move. It was the internet boom, and it was also the year I was born, 1992.
So, the second to last thing that I think I just wanted to do before we end the podcast was list all of the things. Zip2, which was supposed to be a Google Maps sort of thing, which then got bought by Compaq for multiple millions. X.com he purchased using the money he made from Zip2, turned it into PayPal. PayPal he sold to eBay. The money he got from that he put into SpaceX, he put into Tesla, he put into Solar City. He almost lost all of his money, but SpaceX and Tesla have grown into fruition, and now he's making money again. Then the idea for the Hyperloop, which is public transport on steroids, and launching people on a magnetic rail in a tube with no atmosphere to achieve the speeds that a plane. Max is just nodding no. He can't believe that this is real.
It's fucking fake, dude. It's fucking fake.
OpenAI, which is his own AI research organization. Neuralink, which is sticking technology in the brain to one day hope that we can be superhuman cyborgs. The Boring Company, to solve the problems of traffic and move traffic into this specialized tunneling sort of underground tube sort of system. And then that's everything he's done in terms of there's one or two things that are like tiny that we don't want to mention. Like he bought a website once just so that you could review articles on it, and a lot of people have problems with that. That's not a big endeavor, really. You and me could do that, but that's a huge list of things. Like that's a huge list of things that he's like done, and most of them, apart from actually all of them, really are trying to help humanity.
He's a pretty young man,
way.
considering. That's insane.
And like just to have the stamina that he does, to work as hard as he does. He's not young like me or you, but he's not old either. And like this is the incredible, like his resume. If you wrote a resume, there's no need for him to write a resume. But if you wrote a resume, it's unbelievable.
His resume is his fucking name at this point.
his
face. Yeah. You show up and say nothing. They're like, you got the job.
But the one final thing if you can put your mind back to, I can't remember what year it was, but the Tan Luang cave rescue, where those kids had explored a cave, and then it rained.
Yeah.
This is like a flashback. Then it rained, and they were trapped.
Forgot about this.
Because the cave flooded, and how the country couldn't figure out, or it took a real struggle to figure out how they were going to get them out, right? So what they ended up doing was trying to dig a hole just big enough to put food and water down there, right? But it's unstable. It's very unstable to do such a thing. So what they started doing, as well as like these kids, they're just kids. Like, they're not trained in like any way that. So if a rescuer came, it would be very difficult. So people were tweeting at Elon Musk saying, "Can you come up with a way to help these kids?" And he tried it. And in fairness, like, good intentions, but the idea was horrible to look at, you know? Like, something is technically great, but terrifying in practice. And it was to have this, like, capsule that you put a kid in, and the dimensions were supposed to be small enough. So the idea is to close the kid in this small, like, imagine closing a baby in a mini fridge, although it's a child, it's just a bigger mini fridge, then dragging it into the water, into like a tunneled, flooded cave system, and maneuvering it around.
It's like he's the part of his brain that's just, spitballing with a couple close people in a room on a whiteboard. Like, what if this is crazy? I know this is crazy. But what if we, like, that part of his brain with like someone's life? Like, maybe not. Let's maybe fucking.
Yeah. So apparently,
I don't know, man. It might work, but fuck, like, there's gotta be something else to try, like,
before we vacuum seal a child and pass them through a flooded tunnel.
God.
Like, cave.
Or the fucking Loch Ness monster swallows them like a pill.
Dude. Like, the images of that were just like, man, Elon, God, you can come up with something better? Anyway. In the end,
Incredible.
Those kids were saved by, like, a military scuba diver.
Didn't he call the coach a pedophile or something?
I can't remember. But, like,
there was something weird that
there was
like
there was a lot of
like,
weird
what
stuff.
the fuck?
I
He was
should
just mad that they didn't like his idea.
I should have got my
everyone
facts
has a
straight.
flaw.
Did that guy who rescued them, did he die?
I don't remember.
I can't-
It's been long enough.
I must apologise. It is 1:30 a.m.
We already shown that we've known so many other things.
Yes.
So it's okay to not know this thing.
This one thing at the end of the podcast that is a downer.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nah, but, like, I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this long and hard, right? This world, it needs an Elon Musk, because nothing was being done about climate change. Space travel isn't an emergency, but, like, space travel is important if we are going to prolong human existence, because this Earth, this planet, or our star isn't going to last forever. So getting space travel on track is important, especially, like, if we keep moving at the technological rate. We need to be able to go to, like, other planets and mine resources and build new things.
Yep.
The electric car thing is huge, and the solar panel thing is huge. Hyperloop, I'd let it a couple attempts to see if it was safe, let other people try it, but I want to get in that thing.
I would totally. I feel like I would try that.
I want to go from city to city in, like,
I can see
10
myself being an
minutes.
early adopter, not the first one,
Not
but
the first one.
not the first. I'm not that careless.
This being said, I wouldn't go to space. I'm not going to go to Mars.
I'm not interested. I'm living my life out down here.
I'm not going to another planet. Okay, maybe I'll do one of those, like, I'm just saying hypothetically, if I was filthy rich, I'd do that thing where, like, you fly up and you experience zero gravity. Not the thing that the plane falls and you experience zero gravity because the plane's falling, but, like, I'd go to space and fly back. But, like, I don't want to be on one of those rockets that lands vertically. Okay, I don't want any of that shit. I want a runway. I want a plane experience because I know that. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not. I like it here on Earth. I really think that he's doing stuff to save Earth, right?
Yeah.
There's this one part of that Bill Gates documentary where the guy who writes a lot of the books that Bill Gates has read. This I can't remember this dude's name, but he's an old man and he's written on tons of books. And then he starts saying about like, oh, we have to save the Earth. If you think we're going to go live on Mars, you're a delusional Elon Musk. And I'm like, Elon had nothing to do with this episode or any of the season. You just like took a low blow to Elon. And if you look, he's actually very pro for preventing climate change. So you've sort of shunned him for no reason. Yeah, that was strange. But I do recommend that Bill Gates episode. And this podcast could have easily been about Bill Gates' efforts to, help climate change and solve real problems in the world, just as much as like Elon Musk is. Elon Musk is. When you watch that Joe Rogan interview, and like maybe about 45 minutes in, you can see that like Joe Rogan's like, I am not on the same level as this guy. This guy's a different level of intellect. He just, the way he talks, the way you see him like process information. And I think the most respectable thing about it is that he really thinks about what he's going to say before he opens his mouth.
Sure. It takes a second to just fucking think about it.
But yeah, I think we should wrap the podcast up. Yo, have you got a...
Oh, for sure.
You got a neat
we're inching towards an hour and a half, I believe.
This is mad. We've never done this before. Have we? I don't think so.
Unfucking precedented. We've maybe come close. I know we've definitely gone over an hour several times, but...
Yeah. Do you want to play some Mad Max Jam?
Oh, dude. Sure. Yeah, let me just throw this out there.
This has been the Super Salty Podcast with me, Neelesh Durari. You're hearing the beautiful music of Max Wallace.
Let me show you my favorite chord. It's called a tritone.
Very good.
Hope you liked it. Yeah.
Loved it.
That's the devil's chord, my boy. The tritone. Once illegal to play.
Once illegal to play?
Bad. It was. Yeah, it was considered the devil. There was some like something behind it. Long time ago.
Because it sounds kind of scary.
Yeah. So for some reason they believed it was linked to the devil and all that. It's a specific interval. But I want to say it was specifically C and F sharp.
Yeah.
That they did not like. I don't like it. It sucks. But I have the power to play it and survive, and that's what's important. We live and we learn and we grow.
You can catch our socials. The podcast is on YouTube at Super Salty Pod. The Twitter is Super Salty Pod. My Twitter is _Nino. My Instagram is Nino, and my YouTube channel is Nino. Max, hit them with your socials.
Oh my boy! On Instagram, I am Thundersmell. On Twitter, I am Thunder_smell. YouTube, I'm Haystix or Thundersmell. That's the basics. You can get pretty much anywhere from the Twitter. So good place to start. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated.
I'm really happy that we're doing this. And today, we chose to talk about Elon Musk, even though we're a gaming podcast. But we can do whatever the hell we like. So there.
Yeah.
Bye.
Life's in our hands. Too small to I'm just gonna abandon that sentence. Goodbye.